Hello and welcome to The Tennis for episode 1 of a brand new season of the podcast. And Merry Christmas, wherever you're listening or indeed watching. That's right, for the very first time we are coming to you on YouTube, as well as all your regular podcast platforms. You can watch this entire episode on the Australian Open YouTube channel. Today on The Tennis, we'll be having a look at 2025 through the crystal ball to see what might be in store for next year and what we'd like to see. Vic Rudnikov checks in with Team USA No.1 Coco Gauff. And Tournament Director Stephen Farrow joins us on the eve of the United Cup. That's all ahead on The Tennis with me, John Hoevenaars, and an angelic assembly of tennis identities.
Angelic?
Yep.
I've
Brie,
been
Stewart,
called that for a while.
Todd, Woodbridge, Sam Stosur. Merry Christmas to you all.
Merry Christmas to
Merry
you, John,
Christmas.
and our team and everybody watching on YouTube.
What's the Christmas season had in store for you guys? A highlight so far?
I had a weekend off just before this record, which was so nice.
Beautiful.
Just a normal weekend. But I'm looking forward to Christmas Day. I do all the cooking.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're the chef. You're the
I've
chef.
bought the ham and everything to
Delicious.
glaze it. I've got a turkey stuffed with macadamia and apricot
Oh my
all
God,
set to
yum.
go. And then I'm doing beef Wellington as well. So I've got the
You've gone the
mushrooms
whole hog.
for
You're
the
going
duck
all out
cell.
for not a huge party. I love
Well,
that.
yeah, it's Christmas.
No,
Is there any
Yeah.
free seats at your table?
Yeah, everyone's
sounds delicious.
welcome. Yeah.
Are you on the tools, Sam? Christmas?
I was, but now we're not hosting anymore. So I'm kind of,
right.
we've got to bring some stuff, but we don't have everyone coming to our house and I don't have to do the meat and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little more chilled, I think. Yeah.
And you've got a big one though, don't you?
A big one. I'm having a friend over.
Yeah.
And
You're the
we are
host.
cooking together.
Okay. Or you do it like Mr. Bean style?
Yeah, we're going to do it together. Like
Lovely.
we'll go get some food on Christmas Eve. We do have a ham already that was gifted to us to a friend that's already gone away. And her and I are just going to cook
Yeah.
and have a lunch.
Well, you better get your recipes done and,
She's not very good at the organisation in that way, but I've already written down what we're going to do.
Good.
Yeah.
I've already had my Hoevenaars family Christmas, but I've got the in-laws family Christmas coming up, South African style.
Mm.
So they're more of a Christmas Eve tradition for the
And
for the South
so,
Africans.
not this Christmas, but the next Christmas is going to be very different, right?
Sam, baby on the way for me.
Yeah,
Did I tell you?
right.
Yeah,
When's it due?
in March,
Oh, fun.
straight after the Australian Summer of Tennis.
Good
Well,
timing.
that's good timing. Better than during the Australian
yep.
summer of tennis.
Sometimes it's best to count the days in the lead up to. Enough said. Plenty to get through today. We'll be casting a spotlight over the upcoming season and discussing some things that we think we might see or that we'd like to see. And so we did a bit last week on the show retrospectively looking at 2024 with Praddy and Pete. But today we're going to ask the questions: who will be the breakout player of 2025? What would be your dream Australian Open final? What do you want to see more of next year? And also, what are you personally hoping to do or achieve? So we're going to start at the top with Sam Stosur. Who will be the breakout player, Sam, of 2025?
Well, I know we've all heard of Mirra Andreeva already, but she hasn't cracked the top 10 yet. She's gone, relatively deep in some slams, but I think 2025 could be the year that we see her take that next step to the next level of a Grand Slam, hit the top 10, and then really kind of solidify herself as one of the top players on the Women's Tour. So, it's always hard to back it up, but I think she's kind of done that this year, and now she really feels probably more like she belongs there and everything. So I think we potentially see Mirra hit the top 10.
So what's she got in her game and what's she missing? What can she add?
Oh, I would say physicality, like strength. She's a young teenager, so she's going to get physically stronger, and then that's going to give more weight of shot.
Yep.
Because the skill set is really there, I think.
Well, I agree. And also, I think as she gets you can kind of see that she's still a teenager as well, because if she's getting deep in some of these events, and then you see it gets maybe a little bit mentally tired as well. So it's not just the physical side, but I think that'll get stronger, and then her mental game will also get stronger
With
along
maturity.
with that. The maturity will come into play.
Nice. Yeah, wasn't she your rising star?
Yeah, last week.
on the show.
Yeah, I love Mirra Andreeva. Yeah, she's really cool.
All right, Todd, what about you? Who would be your breakout player of 2025?
Yeah, but I procrastinated for a long time about trying to
All
pick
weekend.
someone. Yeah,
Todd.
because I'm looking, going, they've made it, they haven't, will they? Not sure. They're going well. So you go through I was sort of really looking at the men's, going through the top 100, and then I kind of landed on Holger Rune because 2 years ago he was there. and really knocking on the door. And then this last 12 months was just okay. And I think that he has had that time to sit back, reflect, improve on things. Because so often happens when you burst onto the scene and you get great results, everyone works you out, and then you've got to go away and unpick your game and improve it again. And I think that that's been the period he's been going through. And so coming into 2025, I think that he should be ready to be back in some semis of slams and then contending. Because as we know, you only need one of those guys to lose early, whether it be an Alcaraz or a Sinner or something happens, and bang, there's an opportunity at the moment for people. So I think watch out for him. And look, I like him in a sense that he's an antagonist a little in our game.
What? Yeah.
And he brings that contrast. And it's not normally me that likes an antagonist. I just feel I'm a bit more of the opposite of that. But I really do think that he's good for the game, and I'd love to see him in that space again.
Because it's probably the one area, it's the maturity of mind for Holger, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit like an Andreeva in a way, is that you can see him after a period of time really come off his levels, and that's got to do with being understanding the intensity, what's required, the focus, and he seems to burn a lot of energy away from the court as much as on it, and he's got to learn to be able to somehow chill away and then just bring full energy when he gets to the court, and that's just experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, you learn that along the way. You can't just very few players, I think, have that innately, and you kind of do have to go through the hard yards, maybe some hard losses, think, oh, geez, I could have gone further there, but I let myself down in this area. So it is certainly something that you learn as you go on. I learnt that lesson. I have no doubt that's how I help myself win the US Open, because I learned a lesson from the year before playing at the US Open. So, I think if you're open to seeing everything and what you can actually work on and build on, it's there to be kind of unpicked and then made a real focus.
All right, all eyes on Holger Rune for 2025. Brie, your breakout player prediction.
I've just gone a bit random, haven't I? I've gone with an Italian, so Flavio Cobolli. He got to the quarterfinals in Beijing. He's 22. He likes lasagna. Some of the stuff
is that unusual?
How unusual for an Italian. But yeah, I just think he's doing some interesting things. Young, upcoming. I don't know. There's just something about him.
You saw him at Laver Cup, Todd?
Yeah, I'm with you. That was a couple of those Italian guys I was sort of in my list.
Yeah.
No, I like your choice. I think that what's been fascinating about the Italian players in this last 4 or 5 years, so I'll get in trouble for saying this, but back in the day, most players played in a cultural way of their countries, and the Italians were, the hands are going, and it's like, oh, whatever, not today, can't be bothered. And that's changed. Sinner's brought a very different mentality to Italian tennis.
Yeah,
it's structured, it's disciplined. They're there, they're focused, they're concentrated, and it wasn't like that. I can promise you.
It's more Fabio style.
It was Fabio. Yeah, it was throw coins on the court. What do you mean? And it's stuff like that. And so I really think that culturally, their tennis has changed, and that's why they've got this depth. They're nothing like they used to be, and it's good for tennis. It's great to watch.
It's so good to watch.
So I'm with you.
Oh, good, because I was like, this is random, but that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
We had Matteo Arnaldi on last week's show,
yeah,
and he was because I think Brie asked the question, what is behind? How do you explain the rise of Italian tennis? He said Sinner was a huge factor, of course, but that's only been in the last 4 or 5 years. But just because they're often from small towns, not necessarily have a lot of tennis focus. They're exposed to a lot more sports. But he said he mentioned that having that small town mentality with a quality coach was very helpful for them to be able to effectively become a big fish in a small pond, and then gain the confidence to go on. And when you've got a role model like Jannik Sinner, then the sky's the limit.
Yeah, he basically said it gives you belief you can do it too.
Yeah.
And he said that the friendship amongst all those young Italians coming up is helping as well, because they're kind of like a little family now.
Yeah, it's like Australian tennis at the moment. When you look at how many are in the top 100 on the men's side, one gets through and they go, if you can get there, I can.
Yeah.
I've been beating you for years.
Yeah.
And then that's sort of what happens.
Who was that for you growing up as a player, as a young professional player? Was there someone that you sort of saw, okay, this is possible?
Oh, I mean, I remember hitting with Alicia when I was 15 at the French Open. I was there for juniors, and I don't know why, but somehow I hit with her on the indoor court there, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm hitting with Alicia Molik. This is amazing, and kind of thought, oh, that's where I want to be. So yeah, she was probably that moment really sticks out for me to be like, I want to do what you're doing.
There you go. And it's come true again in the last 12 months as well with your role.
Yeah, true. Yes.
You keep kicking her out.
Yeah, no, not intentional.
My breakout player for 2025 is a young Brazilian man who's just absolutely wiped the floor at the ATP Next Gen Finals, taking all before him and winning it, Joao Fonseca. It was an incredible performance. He is a blistering player with plenty of spice in his game. He beat the likes of Artefiz, Jakub Mensik, Van Asker and Tien in the final to win it. And I just see big thing. All the talk from the young guys coming through is that he's sort of
that's a little bit like where Sinner was 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, it was the same type of thing. That it was not a matter of if, it was just a matter of when.
Great for Brazilian tennis, though. We
Yeah.
haven't seen a lot of men in the last 2 decades, really.
Yeah, not since Gustavo
Yeah.
Curtin. Yeah.
So yeah, he's someone who I think will be the breakout player of 2025. Of course, already in the top 50, but I think he's going to go another level.
I watched some of his. I was watching a women's match, and he was on the court next door at the US Open. And I thought, oh, who's this guy? And that whole crowd was erupting. You had all the Brazilians there. The atmosphere was off the chart. So yeah, he is a really exciting player, and I think he brings everyone kind
Energy.
of with him in the energy. So
Box
it's fun.
office.
Yeah.
Okay, our second question then, Sam. What would be your dream Australian Open singles final in 2025?
Look, maybe not. It wouldn't be a surprise final potentially in Sabalenka and Gauff, but I'd really like seeing their rivalry happen at the moment. It's currently 5-4. They've had some really close matches, obviously huge matches, US Open final and here in the Aussie Open in the semis last year. And I don't know, it's kind of, you could go either way on any given day. And I think seeing two of the best players in the world go at it time and time again and actually bringing their best tennis is exciting. And so I think that's probably the rivalry at the moment on the women's side. So I think we'd be in for a treat if we got to see that in Melbourne.
Are they both players who can control the game that they want to play, or is it more on Sabalenka's racket on any given day?
I think a lot's on Sabalenka for me, on her focus, nerves, the ability to finish matches, which is obviously improved. I think a lot of it starts with her. Absolutely.
Okay, so Todd, then, what is your dream Australian Open final?
Well, mine's easy because they haven't played in a Grand Slam final yet, and that's Alcaraz and Sinner.
Yeah,
and
surprisingly.
I've called a couple of their matches, a quarter of US Open, I think it was, Sammy's Roland Garros. Ridiculous tennis that I didn't think we would see this early after the departure of Roger and Rafa. I didn't think the quality would be there in a young player to be able to play the levels that they have. And to see that to start the year off would be phenomenal because really they've dominated the Grand Slams the last year, but they need to play each other in a final for us to really get a feel of like who handles it the best in that moment. So because the contrast that they have when they play against each other is fantastic. There's that little bit more nuance from Alcaraz with the slice backhand, and he definitely is a much better finisher and volleyer at net than what Sinner is. But then Sinner's got this great ability to step up and on second serve returns and just lean in and power, and you salivate just thinking about it.
You like that matchup too.
I do.
Anna.
Do you know, I actually had both of Sam and Todd's matchups and then went for something else.
Okay.
What'd you come up with then?
Well, I've gone with Iga and Coco
Yeah.
because I love Sabalenka, but I was like, maybe it's time to have a new
Champion here.
Yeah, and that could make things a little bit more interesting. And we've not really seen Iga do too much here in Australia at the Australian Open. So I thought that could be really fun and interesting. And I think Iga and Coco, when they play, is also interesting. So that's who I went with.
Who gets the points for you out of 10 matchups, Iga and Coco in a final?
Here, I'd probably give Gauff more of a lean in.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what history would say, right? Like,
It does. But then there's a new coaching team, and hopefully they're in the off-season they've been running over to the backhand corner and hitting some slice backhands. A defensive shot to get back into play.
Yeah.
But if they have, seriously,
That's the gap.
One shot required for her to go to another level here, and that's to get a defensive ball to get it back into play and get back neutral into the court. If she can have been working on that, I promise you'll see a different look from Iga. It will allow her to use her forehand better and set things up. And she's never had. She doesn't have that shot. Doesn't use it at all.
How is it possible for a player who has been number one in the world, 5-time major champion, to not have a basic shot like that? Is it a basic shot?
Yeah, it is. Should be.
But I guess maybe she's also been so good at being able to get out there with the two hands, and she is so physical and being able to, I guess, dominate points early.
Yeah.
She hasn't really needed it,
Yeah,
perhaps.
so she trained to go out there to the backhand corner on the left foot, open stance, and be able to muscle a ball with two hands back. That was her defensive backhand. But that's good. But what it doesn't do, it doesn't allow you to take pace off, float the ball a little deeper so that you get an extra yard or meter to get back to the center of the court. It also doesn't allow you to hit a shorter ball to bring your opponent forward slightly. So it's just adding to a repertoire. And if you think about how good she's been, and then you go, well, if she can learn that and add that, here we go. And that's totally what I think this new coaching team, if I was in that team, that would be my focus, because then she can use her forehand way better on this court at the Australian Open.
Nice. The remaining puzzle piece potentially for Swiatek.
let's see if we see it at AO 25.
Oh, well, if you need me, I'll be here. Court
You can
11,
give Todd a
Iga.
call.
Court 11, 9 o'clock.
Todd, if the TV career doesn't work out, there's always coaching.
There's always coaching.
I've got
Or
Nick.
court 9, come into the studio. We'll do a little
Oh,
one on the
that
court.
is true. That is true. Talk to the producers later on. My dream Aussie Open final matchup would be Nick Kyrgios and Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't even played each other yet.
Yeah, that would be good.
And I know some might say, well, it's wishful thinking because, Kyrgios, a lot of water to go under the
Well, look,
bridge.
to get to the final, but you might get him in an early round.
Yeah.
You're true. But I mean, like, if he does win 6 matches and gets to the final, right, which proves his fitness and proves he's got the game, how would it play out? Kyrgios Alcaraz. I actually have no idea.
That's a big if.
Oh, it's a massive if, but I'm just wondering. I mean, because we saw Kyrgios got to the Wimbledon final 2022 and was really found out by a different level of Novak Djokovic. I wonder if a similar thing would happen here. I mean, this is his domain, though. This is his backyard.
That's a crystal baller. I think you've got to put that one in for 26.
Oh, okay.
26, 27, not this year.
I'll add it to the rundown.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can always dream.
Yeah.
Sam, what do you want to see more of in 2025, tennis-wise?
Look, I wasn't too sure what my answer was going to be on this, but I guess spending time on court in the coaching capacity now, I'd love to see better second serve placements from players. I think.
Okay.
I just think as professionals, they can kind of add that in a little bit more. I think there's too many body serves going in when it's just kind of a bit like I'm getting it in the box. So, just kind of test that. I don't know. It's hard to say. Tennis is moving so quick. So we'll
if we see more variety of placement, what does that do to the product of the tennis that we're watching? What will we see more of?
Well, I think you just, as the server, you set yourself up for being in a better position after your second serve than not. And I think, at least on the women's side, the girls return so well. And if it's just, they kind of know where it's going, middle box, they can step in and crack that thing and get on top of the point so quickly and so easily. And that's, incredible for the returner.
Yeah.
But I'd like to say, okay, well, let's see if the server can really kind of hold that a little bit more. And I think the last year or so, Iga, Aryna and Aryna have definitely kind of pushed the boundaries on that second serve already. You can see that they've improved their second serves in the last 12 to 18 months. And so I'd like to see the rest of the field sort of go down that way.
And better rallies would ensue, I imagine. Longer
Well,
rallies?
yeah, I guess it would.
Well, it's point
potentially.
construction.
Yeah.
like you can.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. So like Sam would hit the kick serve. She could land it short to the backhand, get them lean out here so that they're not getting that big strike, and then start to open up the court with a forehand. So that's what that's all about. It's constructing a point from the serve and not putting it in to see what happens. The returner shouldn't be constructing the point. Yeah, it should be the server's role, and I think it flips at times in women's tennis, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Todd, what do you want to see more of next year?
I want to see more Australians slaying it in Grand Slams. Yep. When you look at the results that we had this year, Alex in singles reaching quarters all over the place, time to get to semis and a final. Yeah. If things go well for him. Our double success was extraordinary. Olympic medals to go with it. I mean, and then the number of men in the top 100. It's just been a great year. So that's got to continue. You want to see that continue. And then the other part is on the women's side for Australian tennis. It was a little sparse there for 18 months or so once we had injuries. Mm-hmm. But all of a sudden, Olivia's in the top 100. You've got Emerson Jones as #1 junior in the world. You've got Taylor Preston that's starting to knock on the door and be in there as well. So it's exciting times for Sam. Indeed. And a bit more work to do because they're going to take time to get to the other part. But on the men's side of things, it's Grand Slam titles. Phenomenal. Keep it up, boys.
Question for each of you. Who's closer, Alex de Minaur or Alexei Popyrin, to winning a slam? Or to getting to a final of a slam?
What about Jordan?
You can throw Jordan.
Yeah. Well, Jordan's got to do I think Jordan and Alexei got to do the knocking on the door to the quarters. Yeah. That's the hard thing because you start to believe you can get to the quarters regularly. And that's what Alex has done. You went through that, right? I didn't, but you watch them do it. And then you start to believe, and then it's easier to get there because your seeding is allowing you, not to come up against somebody massive in those first few rounds, and then you get through. So I think it's Alex at the moment. Okay. Now we'll see, maybe that earlier question, maybe Alexei's one of those that is another breakthrough in a different way. He's won his Masters series. And now this year is about depth of result in majors and consistently doing that.
And Sam, from a women's perspective I know you don't like to play favourites, you can't really, but who do you believe could go deepest at the AO 25?
From the Aussie women, yeah. Look, I mean, that's a hard question. Obviously, Olivia's in there. Like we just said, she's the one in the top 100 at the moment, and she does have a big game, and she made the final of the 500 this year and has that capability. And then we've got a bunch of players who are going to be in on wild cards, but one person I really want to kind of shout out to is Maya Joint. She's finished the year at 116 or 118. Amazing. Started the year at 680 something. Yeah, wow. She's had 1 year on tour and she's got herself really knocking on the door of top 100. So I think talk about solidifying your year. Now this will be the next jump. She'll play more tour events. She'll be able to get in more, get more opportunities. But yeah, I think she's got a real chance to kind of crack that top 100 and then hopefully be able to stay there and solidify that. But look, there's 4 of them within 120 in the world, so it'd be great to see Dash and Isla back there. Kim Birrell's also, she got to 100, now she's finished 114, so she's knocking on the door again. So yeah, fingers crossed it won't be too long till we see them all actually take that jump. Nice. Brie, what about you? What do you want to see more of next year?
This probably isn't politically right, but I want to see a bit more intensity. And I think it's great that all the players are really good friends now and all that kind of stuff. But I think we need to see a little bit more fight on court. Not like aggressive fight. Yeah. But tenacity. You know what I mean? Yeah, just a bit boxing more like... Yeah, they're also nice. Back in the 90s, it was like...
I've got a theory why that's that way, though.
Why?
Well... Because we've got a microphone under their nose everywhere we go.
That's true.
Gun shy.
You've got a camera following them in every hallway. There's no privacy. They've got nowhere.
We like it that way, though.
Yeah. So
Todd wants more privacy. You want more access.
But then I want more. But
here's the
passion.
thing: you want the access, but they're not going to give it because. Yeah. They're literally got under a microscope every single point and moment they walk into the grounds of the tennis.
About that, don't you?
And so they're all just playing it safe, and they've got to.
Yeah,
like that's where we may have this balance a little wrong about actually how much content we want and where. You need to have those moments where it's all in, and then I can tell you, like, if there's no cameras on the outside,
we don't put it in the locker rooms.
No, thank God for that. But no, seriously, the outside courts used to be a ripper to see some things go, but now they're all live streamed, right?
Yeah.
And everything. So the actual referee's office, they can be watching everything. There's another warning. Whereas we used to get away with a little bit more out there. But on the bigger courts, you used to behave a bit more because there was all the cameras.
Yeah.
There's cameras everywhere.
Big Brother has
So
changed.
it's changed.
It has.
Very true.
I think you've, prevented me why it's different.
Mate, but I think so.
I think you're right.
Because
yeah.
I knew I could get away with a little racket throw out on court 13, but not on Rod Laver Arena.
So you played your first match, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Way down in the
I
garbage
used to
area.
play a lot out the back. Yeah.
I'm hoping to see new player rivalries. They are what makes tennis tick. It's the heartbeat of tennis. We need rivalries. We've seen the emergence of some great ones in the women's game the last 2-3 years. I just think we need more. I'd love to see also some new stars and old stars create rivalries. For example, Sabalenka and Osaka. I feel like there's potential for a great rivalry
That's
there.
nice.
Gauff, Rabaikina, and maybe someone new, like fresh, your guy, Holger Rune, to your opening point about who'll be the breakout player. Maybe a Rune Alcaraz.
Yeah, somewhere where he can be at that level all the time.
Yeah.
To be able to really make that happen.
Yeah. So more rivalries. Just 2 or 3 for the women, 2 or 3 for the men. But they're the sort of things that we can forecast in a draw, look at the bracket and go, okay, we're on here.
Yeah.
Or it could be on, So that's what I'm hoping to see. Finally, Sam, before we get to the break and Coco Gauff to join us before the break, what are you personally hoping to do or achieve in 2025?
This might sound weird to a few people, but I want to be more physically active because I've really dropped the ball since I retired and haven't been doing too much. So I think, it's been 2 years. The time has come now to actually step up and do a little bit more.
Do you hit much?
Depends on the week.
Yeah, okay.
Like during Wimbledon, I hit nearly every day and I loved it. And then I didn't hit a ball for 3 months because just of circumstance. So, but I love hitting. Like going out and having a hit would be my number one preference for exercise and sort of something to do physically. But got a new bike, so I need to make sure I'm actually using
beautiful.
Wear your helmet.
it.
You don't trust her balance or something?
No, just,
What is it, a road bike, a mountain bike, a hybrid?
A bit of a hybrid. It's a road bike with gravel tyres, so I don't have the real skinny ones that I have to be scared of. So just need to get in that habit again.
Okay, Todd, what do you want to do next year? You had a crazy year this year.
I just want to get back to some normality of routine for me. This year has been the busiest year of my life, 2024. Starting off with an AO and tipping point. That was filming 160 shows of that just leading into Christmas, into the AO, short break into the French, straight into Wimbledon, into Olympics, Paralympics, Laver Cup, and then I'm still doing season 2 of Tipping Point, where I've just finished 100 and something shows. And then we throw in, my normal tennis stuff or in and around that we do. So once we get through the AO, I'll have a final 50-odd shows of Tipping Point for season 2.
Is that 10 weeks? No.
That'll take me about
5 weeks.
About 5 weeks. Yeah. And then we're into, I can focus back on tennis for the year.
Nice.
And there'll be, an intensity of breaks and really getting back into that. So I'm looking forward to that. It's been unbelievable. It's not a complaint. Yeah. It's just
one of those years.
It's just
exhausting.
You just I really want that time to be able to do your work and have the balance of your own time at the same time, if that makes sense, because this has just been one of those years where it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've reached your tipping point.
Almost, but I'm not giving up yet.
Jackpot temptation on the way for you in 2025. Brie, what are you personally hoping to achieve?
Well, I do a bit of painting and I haven't had much. Well, I haven't done it much this year, so I want to get back into painting and paint more stuff because it's really good for my brain. And I want to learn a language.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm thinking, but I doubt I'll have... Look, I'm already reneging on it. I just doubt I'll have the patience to commit to it.
As soon as you verbalise, you're saying, I'm taking that
back. Hang on. Let's not put that out anywhere into the world.
Palette or brush?
I do acrylic on canvas, but I want to get more into oils as well. And I do like mixed media stuff. So there's always a bit of...
Sounds like your job.
Collage or something in there.
Yeah, a little bit.
That is true. It's like the physical representation of
what I
her
do.
workplace.
Yeah.
If one language, if you had to choose?
I think Japanese or Spanish.
Do you speak language,
No,
Another-
I wish I did.
Todd?
No.
No, it's
No.
amazing.
Language of love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're lucky.
I
Aren't
don't
we,
even know that
speaking
one.
English? Language of love. Very good. Oh, maybe that's something we can put on your wish list for 2025. For me, just quickly before we get to Coco, I'd like to become a more patient person. And I say this in general, but also because I'm about to become a father in March for the first time with a little daughter on the way. But patience is something that doesn't come very naturally to me.
Truly, I wouldn't
Yep.
have, it doesn't feel like that.
I know, but
No.
yeah, trust me, at home, it's a different case. So yeah, just kind of taking things as they come and not getting too caught up in the detail of not being able to get to a place on time or not being able to achieve everything I set my mind to.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
that's all changing in March
Well,
anyway.
I know. It's going to
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
The fact is, will I deal well with it? So patience for me is the key. Be more patient and gentle, I think.
Nice
Well, you're
one.
giving yourself a good run up, so that's good.
Thank you very much.
Ready for March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have 4 weeks to reset after the Australian summer,
Yeah.
and then off we go for
Yeah.
the wildest ride of my life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Coco Gauff is one of the brightest young stars in tennis, and she's beginning her season for the first time at the United Cup in Perth as part of Team USA. The 20-year-old recently caught up with Vic Rudnikov to discuss the upcoming Australian summer of tennis.
Welcome, Coco. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you've ended 2024 on a high note at the WTA finals. How are you feeling coming into the Australian summer?
Yeah, I'm really excited going into the Australian summer. I feel like I ended the year strong, so hoping to start the year off strong down under.
United Cup debut. What makes Team USA stand out from the pack?
I guess I think obviously with me and Taylor, we both had pretty strong end of the years. This year with him making the finals of the ATP finals and finals of the US Open, and me doing well at the end of the year. So I feel like we're both coming off a lot of good hard court success. So hoping to carry that on to in down under in Perth.
Like you said, reuniting with Taylor Fritz, who you played Olympics with. What did you gain from that experience?
I think I just learned a little bit more about his game and his style of play. I definitely think we'll hopefully be better on hard court than we were on clay. So yeah, I think I've learned a lot about how he likes to play mixed doubles. It's a little bit different than how I like to play, but hopefully we can mesh well. And we'll have a little bit more time, I think, to prepare for it too, considering Olympics was so fast. So I think we'll have more time to properly prepare for the mixed doubles event, which I know is really important in the United Cup format.
Yeah, definitely. And in Paris, you were chosen to be co-flag bearer with LeBron James, which is so cool. But what does it mean to represent your country on the world stage?
Oh, it means a lot to me. And, I think for me, I think United Cup is such a unique event, and there's no other event like it in tennis and kind of in any sport, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. So I think it's really cool to bring both men's sport and women's sport on equal scale and equal competition. And I think that's something really exciting and hopefully can appeal to not just tennis fans, but also non-tennis fans as well.
Yeah, and it's your first time visiting Perth as well. How are you feeling going to a new city that isn't Melbourne?
Yeah, I'm actually excited. I said in a previous interview that it's not often on tour we get to experience new cities for the first time. So I can't remember the last time I've been to a city for the first time. So I'm really excited to go to Perth and learn more about just Western Australia in general. I've never been to Western Australia. Yeah, I've only been to Melbourne and Adelaide. So I'm super excited to go out there and experience something new, and hopefully, if we do well, experience Sydney as well, which is another place I haven't been to.
And with Canada and Croatia in your group, you'll most likely face Vekic and Fernandez. What are you expecting from them?
Yeah, Donna, I just played her at the Olympics this year and I lost. And she's a very aggressive player. She has a great forehand, and she can't win her. It's like kind of on any part of the court. So I think that's going to be a tough match. And Layla, I've never played her before, but I've known her since like I was like 11 years old. We were playing years together. So this will be our first time playing on like this pro scale a professional event. So I'm super excited for that. I think she's super fast, athletic player. She's a lefty, which is not common on tour at all. So both matches are very tough matches to start the year off, but I'm looking forward to them.
I think it's safe to say you're one of the faces of Gen Z in tennis. How does it feel to be a figurehead of your generation?
I guess I don't look at it as that. Yeah, but obviously I know like in tennis, a lot of people look up to me in my generation as well. But for me, it's just doing something that I love and have an opportunity to inspire other people to do what they love. I don't take for granted. And, especially like when I'm on TikTok, I think a lot of people sometimes forget that athletes are also humans too. Like, sometimes I'll get comments like saying, "Oh, I didn't know she did that," or "I didn't know she like goes to the store," or I remember I did a Friendsgiving meal and somebody's like, I thought you would have a chef. I'm like, no, I'm just like a girl that plays tennis. And other than that, my life is pretty normal. So I think for me, it's just have an opportunity to do what I love and inspire people to do what they love, but also knowing that their dreams aren't as far away as people think they are.
Yeah, incredible. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today, Coco. We can't wait to see you on court.
Thank you.
Well, the Australian Summer of Tennis kicks off December 27 and it all starts with the United Cup, which gets underway in Perth and then Sydney the next day. And we're joined by the tournament director of the United Cup, Stephen Farrow from Perth. Good morning to you, Stephen.
Good morning.
How are the conditions over there in the jewel of West Australia?
Well, it's really, really hot. It was 40 degrees yesterday. We're going to have 40 degrees again today. We've had a lot of the players arriving and actually quite excited about coming into the heat from the cold of Europe. But the arena's all set, ready to go. We've had some players practicing, so we're feeling really good.
Amazing. So with some of those players arriving, I think I saw Zverev and Felix arrive. What's the mood on the ground at the moment?
It's always really positive. The players are always so excited when they arrive and they get here and get into the sunshine. And the first thing that Zverev wanted to talk about when he arrived yesterday was whether he and his girlfriend could go and see the Quokkas, because he'd been with he'd obviously been with Hopman Cup a couple of times and he told her how great it was. And so that was the main thing that he was focused on yesterday. But yeah, generally it's also Christmas time. It's Christmas time. It's United Cup. What could be better?
Nothing.
So, Stephen, one of the key things about United Cup is the matchups that we get. And, when I'm talking about the tournament, it's so rare that you'll get two number one players from a country, the likes of Gauff and Leylah Fernandez and Taylor Fritz taking on an Alexander Zverev. Like, you don't get those matches till the quarters and semis of majors a lot of the time. How good is it to have that in your field?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, actually. And you look at some of those matches in the group stage, like you say, you've got, Donna Vekic playing Leylah Fernandez and Coco Gauff as well. Those matches, like you said, they're sort of latter stages of 1000s Grand Slam matches, and they're straight from the off. So I think it means, you would know Birch better than me, but from a playing perspective, you've got to be right on it right from the beginning. There's no room to sort of play your way into a tournament. But I also think the players quite like that as well. That's certainly sort of the feedback we get, and particularly first week of the year, I think to sort of quickly have to get back to your level is something which they seem to enjoy. Obviously, if they lose, they obviously won't enjoy it. But that's certainly the message that we get before the competition.
But then they get that chance to have another match anyway, right? So you actually go, oh, hang on, I've got to pick myself back up because of the group stages. That's what's unique.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And then obviously with the format, it's not just dependent on you to get through. You've got the other singles, you've got the mixed doubles to come as well. So there's always that chance. And I think one of the things that's really really exciting about the competition this year is quite how open it is. We were talking about this as a team last night, where realistically there are multiple teams that could come through and win this competition, and you can't really call it, which I think is so exciting.
So the mixed doubles, you've got this new timeout rule, innovation. How is that going to work? And was there any talk about bringing that up in the singles?
Yeah, for sure. We would do it. We'd do it throughout the competition. In terms of how it's going to work, I mean, this is something that we've been pushing for a number of years, because we think there's all sorts of things that tennis could embrace from other sports that it doesn't. And whilst tennis has been forward thinking with things like electronic line calling and stuff like that, things that could really make the game more exciting and compelling for the fan. There's all sorts of things that I think we could be looking at. I think for this competition, because you've got the unique role of the captain, there's a lot more we can do with that. And the timeout idea, so that will only apply during the mixed doubles, and the captain will press it is literally a big red button. I've seen it on the.
I love that.
You can't miss it. I'm just wondering what happens when someone leans on it accidentally as well. But anyway, that'll be fun. The captain will press it, and then there'll be a 60-second timeout. The players will come to the bench. They'll have the chance to confer, and then on we go with the match. It can only be used when your team is serving, which
why is that?
Hopefully we can move beyond that.
Yeah, I thought, what is there a reason? Is it just to get started? I mean, isn't that the whole concept, is that both teams get that same option, whether you be receiving or serving?
Yeah, so yes, I agree. I think it's always a bit of a journey with these things, with the ATP and WTA, for really good reasons, because obviously they're responsible for the rules of the tour all year round, and I think that they're always a little bit reluctant to push too much with something early on and it get dismissed. So it's a small step. And we've got something really cool planned for the whole sort of LED stadium takeover, and there's really dramatic music that's going to be played. I think if when it happens, it's going to be a really cool moment.
Sam, as a former captain of the Australian United Cup team, would that be a pressure moment for you to know when to push and what to do with those 60 seconds?
Well, I guess being up to the captain, you kind of, you want to make sure you got something to say.
You're
not
like
going to press it and then be like, oh, what was I going to talk about again?
And I'm going to be a huge advocate for having it at both ends of the court, because, I mean, if you were playing against me, and I'd be definitely on break point, as the return I was serving, I'd be taking a timeout, because you'd be guaranteed a double would follow. Okay. So, like, that's what it's for, right? It's to change
mind
that
game.
Yeah. Rattle.
Anyways, I think the concept's good, and I'm going to keep working on it for you, Stephen.
Thank you. Appreciate the support.
So you've got teams you've got 9 teams, is it, in Perth, and 9 teams in Sydney? And then how will the finals system work beyond the group stage?
Well, we have 2 quarterfinals in each city. So we'll finish up in Perth on the 1st of January with the 2 quarterfinals. There'll be 2 winners that will then fly over to Sydney on the Thursday morning, and then they'll have the Friday on site practicing in Sydney to get used to the environment there, and then they will meet the 2 quarterfinal winners from Sydney in the semi-finals on the 4th of January.
There you go. Yeah, and Germany, the defending champion, Team USA was the inaugural champions. Who else could mix it with them in 2025?
Well, I just think, like I said before, it's really, really open. I mean, we were talking yesterday about the Czech team, which no one really would necessarily talk about the Czech team. But you look at the players with Mašáka, Mukova playing for Czechia. I mean, they're a really, really strong team. Italy as well, with Paolini, was obviously that's an unbelievable year last year. Cobolli's a great player. Poland, I would say probably you would think, given how they've played in this competition, might be slight favourites, just because they are in Sydney and they haven't been in Sydney before, and they're Sydney all the way through. But we'll have to see with those guys. Well, I mean, Australia will have a good chance. I mean, you guys will certainly have a view on that. But Alex obviously off an absolutely magnificent year. Really excited to see how Olivia Gadecki does in this competition. There's just so many potential winners here, so it's anyone's guess really in terms of who's going to emerge. There's not very many teams that you would think won't get through, so it just makes for an incredibly open competition.
I'm surprised you didn't say Great Britain, Stephen, so well done on that. For avoiding that. So for fans who are joining us at Ken Roswell Arena in Sydney and RAC Arena in Perth, what can they expect?
Well, this competition has a really unique atmosphere because it's a team competition, and because it's you're turning up to support your country, and it's everything that comes with that. And I think you've got two people in the studio there who've played for their country and know what that environment is like when you get the passionate fans. One of the great things about Australia is you've got so many different people from around the world. So we've got thousands of people from the Chinese community here in Perth coming to cheer on China, the Croatian community, the Italian community in Sydney. So it's almost like a home match for those countries, but in Australia. And so I think that sort of that unique, passionate, intense atmosphere, sort of tribal atmosphere as well, is something that we don't see that often in tennis, certainly outside the team competitions. And I think that just makes for an even more exciting and engaging competition.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I do love it. It's my favourite tournament. Not that you have favourites.
Oh, you're allowed.
Yeah, I love the United Cup. I actually love it. I don't think I am, no, but I love it.
In any case, a wonderful way to start the Australian Summer of Tennis. Stephen, thank you so much for joining us on the tennis, and all the best to you and your team for the next couple of weeks of competition.
Thanks very much.
Great to have Stephen joining us from Perth. So much to look forward to. That kicks off December 27. Brie, this year, throughout 2024, you've delivered some cracking top fives.
And some bad ones, yeah.
This is a new season. This is the tennis Australian Summer. So we need to kick off on a really positive note. So what's your top five for today?
Top 5 Christmas songs.
I like it. No, that's good.
We've gone completely away from tennis just for this episode. And I've put some contentious things in here.
Contentious?
I think so.
Contentious Christmas songs?
Well, no, not. Well, yeah, kind of.
Well, we'll see,
I
won't
just
we?
feel like John will be like, you've missed the greats.
The buttons are in your control. Start with...
I know.
All right.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
5.
So number 5, Blue Christmas by Elvis.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? 1957 hit. When I still have it on record. It was my parents' record, and we used to play it every Christmas, that whole album.
On vinyl.
On vinyl.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the way to play it, right?
Yeah, so that's my 5.
Is it? It's a sad song.
Number 5.
Isn't it?
I'll have a Blue Christmas without you. Yeah, it probably is a bit depressing, but it's beautiful.
Don't listen to the lyrics too deep.
No.
All right, what's next?
4.
4.
Baby, It's Cold Outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I love that too. It was by Frank Loesser, recorded in 1944, but I think it's probably one of the top re-recorded kind of Christmas songs, because obviously Frank Sinatra did it and Ella Fitzgerald.
Okay.
Apparently it was never written to be for Christmas, but became a Christmas song.
Yeah.
Because of the season, is it?
Yeah. Well, not here, but
Yeah, in the Northern Hemisphere.
yeah.
Baby, It's Cold Outside. Yeah, I can see that. Snuggling up to near ones and dear ones. I think
Yeah.
there are other Christmas songs that deal with those themes.
Yeah, totally.
He's ripping them apart.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Where are the traditional ones, the ones
Go
older
on.
than the 99?
Yeah, good one.
3.
Okay, 3.
Yeah.
How to Make Gravy by Paul Kelly.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
I
for,
love
for
that
our
song.
international viewers and listeners, you
Yeah, I'm going to explain it. So, it's an Australian song, and Paul Kelly is one of our top Australian singer-songwriters, and he wrote this, I think, in 2010.
Did he?
Yeah, and it's a bit of a weird Christmas kind of song, because it's about a criminal who is writing this letter home to his family from jail.
Yep. Merry Christmas.
I've seen all these memes lately about how, like, in Britain, there's all these songs about the beautiful season and the food, and then our top Christmas songs about a crim in jail.
Yeah. But it's a heartfelt song of longing and yearning to be with the family.
And he doesn't want his wife to be hit on by his brother. And
that's fair enough.
Gets better.
I think that's
the
a fair deal.
21st of December. We call Gravy Day because he's penning this letter to his wife and family on the 21st of December, and that's generally when you start to make gravy.
And that's the title of the song.
Yeah, How to Make Gravy.
Yeah, it's quite ingenious.
I love that song though.
It's
I'm
definitely.
going to listen to it. Get out.
I like the song.
I love it.
It's the only one I know so far, so
Yeah.
I'm going with it.
No, it's
I'm sure
not.
I've heard the other two,
Yes.
but just not.
It's just so Aussie.
It is good. It's raw and it's
Okay.
emotional.
Oh, it's beautiful. But then
and
when you
sad.
get to the bottom of what it's about, it's a bit like, oh,
Okay, we've touched on some dark themes. So far.
just, Australia's criminal history.
The green button.
2.
What's this number? 2?
2, Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues.
What?
Wow.
No, I'm not familiar with it. Fairy
What?
No.
It's the most played Christmas song in the UK in the 21st century. So it's an Irish pub Christmas song. It goes like do 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 do
It's a
do
shanty.
do 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 do. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Oh.
God, I mean, I'm going to have to go and listen to more.
Fairy tale, did you say?
The Fairy Tale of New York.
Okay, so
But
it's
it's an Irish pub Christmas song.
about New York.
Probably
Yeah,
about
kinda.
everybody leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting on the ships
Yeah.
over the Atlantic.
God, we've locked them up. We've sent them
Yeah.
away.
So
Yeah.
so far we've covered loneliness,
Yeah.
Hopefully the last one, Santa Claus,
jail,
is coming to town.
something. Please get a bit of Bo Woodbridge in the mix. Or something.
Well, now John was like, "You better do Silent Night because Bo sings it," and I was like, "Oh, but then it'll just seem like I'm sucking up to Todd."
Yeah, don't do that.
So I actually removed it.
Yeah, take it out. Take it out.
Well, bring us home with something that's just restores the mood a little bit.
Okay.
1.
All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah
there we
Carey.
go.
Oh,
There
It
we
was
go.
bound to happen, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, because it's obviously a massive, amazing. She's the queen of Christmas, Mariah Carey. And it was in Mean Girls. And then it recently has had an even bigger resurgence because it was a TikTok trend where if you heard the initial bars of the song, everyone was like, "Oh my God, Christmas is here." And it became this viral kind of
it's got
TikTok
that.
moment.
It's
So
a 1
it's gotta be
second.
number one.
It's a 1 second
Yeah.
recognition. Yeah.
That one.
It was also in Love Actually, as I was put
Yeah,
through,
it was.
taken through last
Yeah.
week for the first time.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good list, but yeah, no traditional ones I note there, and
Yeah. But there's just so many good non-traditional ones.
that's true. I like
I know
the
you
first
like the
Noel
traditional,
is for me.
yeah.
The first Noel is my favourite. Underrated, Sam. Underrated.
John did try to influence my list, and obviously it didn't work.
If you haven't listened in a while, get the first Noel on your set. But I did watch A Very Musical Christmas, and Bo did a wonderful and complex rendition of Silent Night.
He did, yeah. That was the cast of Dear Evan Hansen and their music director put that all together. So starts traditionally and then goes into very more upbeat Silent Night with wonderful harmonies from the whole place. And not easy to do. You're a singer. I'm not, but yeah, challenging.
Yeah, he's come a long way. Hoping to
then-
get him in studio
That would be
during the
nice.
Oz Open.
He's he and the cast are opening Carols by Candlelight for Channel
my God,
9
how
on Christmas
amazing.
Eve. So get ready for that. I believe they're singing "O Come All Ye Faithful," so you'll be happy
Another
with that.
beautiful song.
Yeah.
You got a favourite Christmas song, Sam?
Not really. I mean, Evie's just been singing Jingle Bells every day at every single moment, so that's all that I have going through my head.
It's a good meat
Yeah.
and potatoes Christmas
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
Line and length.
No,
Yeah.
I've just put on the whatever, Spotify list
yeah.
and let it go.
I like Bing Crosby and White Christmas.
Oh
yeah, that's actually quite a good one.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a White Christmas?
No.
No.
No. Well, 50 years nearly of Australian Opens, it seems like.
Just haven't been able to get across the equator.
The snow doesn't last long here at summertime.
Except in 2006, I believe we did have
Does it
snow
have
in Melbourne.
shower?
In Melbourne, you might not have seen it.
No.
But yeah,
No.
crazy stuff. Well done on your top five.
Yeah, that was
Thank
good.
you. Thank
Thought-provoking.
you. Thank you.
Contentious, indeed.
Contentious.
Finally, to finish, it's been a long episode of The Tennis, and I hope you've enjoyed the first episode of Season 7 of the pod, but Ace of the Week, where we share a non-tennis highlight from our week past or to come. So, Sam, what's lighting up your Christmas world?
Evie got an early Christmas present from a couple of her, aunties, friends of ours, and it is this giant unicorn that is pink and purple. It's the most magnificent thing you've ever seen. It's splayed, so its legs are all out, and she's had it for 3 days, and it just gets carried around room to room, laid
I
on,
love
slept
that.
on,
A plush toy-
cuddled.
plush
It's a
toy?
plush toy.
Oh,
If
right.
anyone in Australia, it's at Kmart. You could not miss this thing.
Yeah.
It's like a new member of the family. It sat on the chair when we had breakfast together
Oh, wow.
yesterday. So this thing is
Has a
just
name?
amazing. Uni.
Uni.
So yeah,
amazing.
uni
God, that's
uni
so
comes everywhere
cute.
now around the house. So that has been a highlight, I think.
Is Uni ridden in the Porsche yet?
Strapped
Mention
in.
Won't be long.
Love it. Todd, your Ace of the Week?
Look, it's unapologetically, one of those weeks for me because it was the opening of Dear Evan Hansen in Melbourne.
Yes.
And opening night was just incredible. So,
Did he lift for his hometown?
yeah, it was really stressful. He's been sitting in his pocket really well and comfortable and healthy, 'cause
Yeah.
vocally healthy. But, that that audience was full of people that he knew, that he's grown up with, the industry people that are all got their eyes on it. There's theatre critics, there's everything in there.
Pressure.
So it was a lot of pressure, and he just, he and the whole team just nailed it. And it was quite interesting to see him relax after opening night, which was a Wednesday of last week, and then he can really just sit in it now. And a lot of people that are coming into the Aussie Open that are not going to go to every session, they can get over to the Arts Centre.
I really want to go see it too.
And have a look.
Hopefully it doesn't end.
No, we've got a couple of weeks after the AO.
Okay, good. Because,
to see
obviously.
It. But that was massive.
Todd take us. Podcast excursion.
And the other thing that's really weird for me, it's really weird, is that I've been driving around Melbourne and all of a sudden, like, a tram comes by and my bloody son's on the tram.
Oh, no. How would you deal with that? There's enough Woodbridges.
Mate.
He's doing so well, isn't he?
It was extraordinary extraordinary week for the family.
Nice. Well done, Bo. Hopefully get him on the pod for or the sit down.
Well, he knows a lot about tennis, obviously. I mean, he's grown up around tennis. He knows everything. And
does he really?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he doesn't follow it as much as he used to, but it's been a bit of his world. It's like the crossover of I know a lot of his world and he knows a lot of mine. So he's been to a lot of Wimbledons, a lot of Australian Opens. So, yeah.
I like it. Brie, ace of the week?
As everyone knows, I've recently moved house and my dog and cat are getting along much better in the new house.
Really?
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, they probably felt like they had to stick together.
Yeah.
Bond a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like when you go overseas with an exchange student you don't like in Melbourne.
Yeah, but then you have
yeah,
to.
it's just the best they've ever been together. The dog's 4.5 and the cat's 14. So there's a bit of an age gap. And the cat takes no prisoners. Like, the cat chases the dog as well as the dog chases the cat, which I think is quite cute because they're always playing. But they've got into the habit of sleeping together more and all that kind of stuff, which I'm really liking. Just makes my heart happy.
Better energy.
Yeah,
for
that's
them.
what I thought. The house must
Yeah.
just be better for them.
I wonder if they have, like, the animal version of the Chinese, what's it called?
Cat, the waving cat.
No. When the house
That's
is
what
the
I
right.
went to when you
Feng
started doing that.
Shui.
Feng Shui, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you on this bit, sorry.
Yeah, I'm with you. Feng Shui.
Feng Shui,
yeah.
that's it.
It's better
Yeah,
animal
that's what
feng
I'm
shui.
thinking.
Okay, I got to take your word for it. Is that it for you? The cat and the dog?
What,
Dumpling and Frank?
What
No,
else
what's
do you want from me?
What are they called? Dumpling and
Dumpling and bacon.
bacon. I'm
Yeah,
not sure I
the
got
cat.
Frank from.
Who's who?
Dumpling's the dog. Bacon's the cat. Yeah.
Good question, Sam. We're all wondering. For me, looking forward to rolling the. I have been rolling the arm over in a bit of backyard cricket already.
Oh,
This
yeah.
past
Ooh.
weekend. Geez, the rotator cuffs get
Careful, you're getting older.
Yeah, and that because I bowl left arm. That is not an arm I use for anything else. So, got to protect it. But great catching up with the family. My dad, as I've talked about before, he's been unwell over the past 8 years, but he's doing well at the moment.
Good.
Now, what are we now? 3 generations and coming together. It's just a wonderful time of year, and hoping to do the same with my wife's family as well this summer before it all kicks off, which is tomorrow when you're watching this.
Yeah.
But you can join us again next week for the latest episode of The Tennis. And don't forget to like and subscribe to stay across everything happening in the world of the tennis. Thanks for joining us, Todd,
Great
Sam.
fun. Merry
you.
Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
And Happy New
Thank
Year.
you.
Happy holidays.
Catch up in the new year.
All of those that celebrate differently as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a great week in tennis and a happy new year.